On the ancient Greek night sky, when the sun retreats and darkness begins to fall, another light softly rises, silver, serene, cold, yet mesmerizing. It is the moonlight, and it marks the arrival of Selene, the moon goddess, who rides her silver chariot across the heavens each night, carrying with her the quiet beauty of mystery and stillness. But Selene is more than a celestial cycle of rise and fall. She is the embodiment of a love that defied even the laws of time. A love for a mortal. A love without smiles, without words, only eternal sleep and a gaze that would never be returned. The tale of Selene and Endymion is unlike any romance upon Mount Olympus. For she was divine, and he, only human. And for that love, she traded the warmth of companionship for the immortality of a moment. A strange price only a goddess could pay, and only a lonely heart would accept. Come now, step into this story with me, where moonlight doesn't just brighten the night, but unveils the quietest yearnings of an immortal soul. Selene, goddess of the moon, who endured in silent shadows. When the stars begin to glimmer like whispered secrets across the vault of night, that is when Selene appears, quietly, without fanfare. Not blazing like her radiant brother Helios, the sun god. Not bursting with life like her sister Eos, the dawn. Selene is the gentle symphony of the night. A distant gaze, a soft glow, not seeking brilliance, but shining with a silver light as cool and dreamlike as moonlit mist. Born of the Titan Hyperion, the primal light, and Thea, the goddess of sight and shimmering vision, Selene came into being alongside Helios and Eos. Together, they formed the sacred triad of celestial motion, dawn, sun, and moon, forever chasing one another across the sky, but never touching, never meeting. In Greek mythology, Selene is described as a breathtaking maiden with long hair silver as morning frost, flowing freely in the wind as she rides her moon chariot drawn by two pure white horses. Unlike Artemis, later associated with the moon and known as the huntress, Selene carries no bow, wages no war. She brings only light, soft light, guiding the lonely, soothing the dreamers, and watching over the hearts that still believe the moon holds unspoken vows. In ancient temples, Selene was worshipped not only as the goddess of the moon, but of time, fertility, and enchantment. Each night, she drove her chariot from east to west, then bathed in the ocean's waters before rising once more, her eternal journey. She lived in hymns, in full moon festivals, and in the whispered prayers of young girls longing for faraway love. But Selene, like her moonlight, was always distant, always alone. While the world slept, she drifted through the heavens, night after night, with no companion, no one to hear her thoughts. The other gods had lovers, families, rivalries, great battles, and glorious quests. Selene had only the wind, the mist, and a sky too vast to ever hold her. Perhaps that is why, when she saw a mortal boy asleep beneath her light, her heart stirred, and that love changed the fate of an immortal goddess. Endymion, the mortal who slept in an eternal dream. On a night unlike any other, when the sky lay still like a quiet lake and the full moon hung above like a silver coin, Selene, on her usual journey across the heavens, stopped. Not from weariness, not because time had faltered, but for something deeper. She saw him, a mortal boy, asleep. Endymion. He was no god, no demigod, not a great warrior or a famed prince. Some say he was a shepherd, others a king or even an astronomer. But in that moment, beneath the soft glow of moonlight spilling over the curved hills of Korea, near the valley of Mount Latmos where a temple to Artemis stood, his beauty caught the gaze of the moon goddess. He lay there, peaceful as if the world itself had exhaled and gone silent. His hair glistened with dew, his skin bathed in silver, like he was cloaked in Selene's own radiance. And Selene, the lonely goddess of the skies, felt her immortal heart tremble for the first time. Not from the wind, not from the stars, but from something entirely human. She descended quietly, sitting beside him night after night, simply watching his face. She fell in love, with quiet longing, with aching devotion, with absolute stillness. But Selene was a goddess, Endymion, a mortal, and that truth stood like a fracture between their worlds. Some say Selene went to Zeus and pleaded with him. Let him sleep forever. Not die, just sleep. Let time never touch him. Let death never find him. Let me love him in silence, each night, for all eternity. And Zeus, whether out of mercy or mystery, agreed. From that moment on, Endymion slept beneath the moon, locked in a slumber beyond time. And Selene, night after night, would descend, sometimes kissing his closed eyes, sometimes only watching. No words, no awakening, only love, timeless and still, untouched by fate. Some myths say Selene bore him 50 daughters, maidens of night light, silent guardians of the stars. Others say the daughters were metaphors, 50 moons, 50 cycles, each one a return, each one a hope to see him again. Selene's love was not wild, nor blazing. It was soft, like her moonlight, not a flame to burn the heart, but a glow that seeps into the soul. And in Greek mythology, a world of jealous gods, tempestuous affairs, and blazing passion, the love of Selene and Endymion remains rare. A love unspoken, but eternal. The tragedy of immortality, loving someone who will never wake. Each night, the moon grows full again. Each night, Selene rides across the heavens, casting her silver light over Mount Latmos, where Endymion sleeps in a slumber that never ends. And each night, a new wound opens in the heart of the moon goddess. Because even the gods cannot measure this truth. Love is not just presence. Love is the echo. Love is the answer. Selene once begged Zeus to grant Endymion eternal sleep, so she could keep him forever. But was it truly a gift or a curse? Each time she draws near, his eyes remain closed. Each whisper goes unheard. Endymion does not know he is being loved. And Selene's love, endless as it is, has become a sorrowful melody sung to no one. Alone in her immortality. For though she is a goddess who commands the skies and shapes celestial wonders, Selene also holds a heart that longs. And that heart knows loneliness. Not the loneliness of being unseen, but the ache of reaching for a love you can never touch. Endymion, for all his peace, has lost the right to choose. To love, or to refuse love. In that eternal sleep, he is a prisoner, even if the cage is made of silver light and soft devotion. A love with no escape. Selene's love is the moonlight cast upon the earth. Always above, always gentle, always beautiful, but never truly able to touch the life unfolding below. And Endymion, forever lying still, like a statue carved from dreams, has become the symbol of every love that is not returned. Perhaps the deepest tragedy is not in separation, but in nearness without hope. When someone comes to you every night, and you can never look back, never speak, never say, "I love you too." Forever is too long for a heart left unanswered. Yet under the moon, their story is still told, passed from generation to generation. Some say, if you gaze at the moon when it softens in the sky, you may glimpse Selene sitting beside Endymion's sleeping form, her eyes heavy with sorrow, her lips sealed in silence, her heart forever unheard. The sky may change, the world may forget, but that love, lonely, unreachable, and infinite, still goes on, just like the moon itself. The truth behind the myth, from Selene to the symbol of the moon and human longing. Why is it that, for thousands of years, humankind has looked up at the moon with a quiet ache in their hearts? Why does moonlight always seem to whisper of something distant, like a lover who passed by, or a memory we can't quite name? Perhaps it's because, deep within every soul, there is a fragment of Selene. Selene, not just a goddess. In Greek mythology, Selene was the personification of the moon, but she was far more than a celestial figure. She embodied endless yearning, silent beauty, and emotions that are never returned. She did not seduce like Aphrodite. She did not fight like Athena. Selene simply loved. Loved so deeply that she gave everything, even her reason, even justice. Her image, gliding across the night sky, watching a sleeping lover from afar, is not just a tale of divine romance. It is a metaphor for unrealized dreams, unspoken desires, and one-sided love stories we dare not confess. Endymion, eternal sleep or eternal erasure. In legend, Endymion symbolizes serenity untouched by time. But he also represents desires suppressed, choices stolen, and love unnoticed. He is the image of those who were loved without ever knowing. And worse still, he was stripped of the right to choose. He becomes a mirror for all the silent heartbreaks we've carried, those who loved in silence, those whose love was never returned. From myth to mankind. In the ancient world, Selene appeared on pottery, in faded murals, and in mournful hymns. She was the soft glow praised by poets, the moon called upon by lovers in despair. And in the modern age, Selene never vanished. From European romantic literature to Hollywood films, her story is told again and again. A love that cannot be touched. A sleep that cannot be broken. It is no coincidence that the moon is linked to sleepless nights, sorrowful poetry, and lonely hearts. The moon and Selene are symbols of the tender, vulnerable, dream-filled parts of us all. The lesson she leaves us: love means letting go. Selene's story is not a celebration of possession, nor is it a hymn to ultimate sacrifice. It asks us something far more difficult. Should we keep someone forever if the price is their freedom? And sometimes, to love someone is to let them live their own life fully, not to hold them in sleep beside you forever. If it means they can no longer choose, the moon still crosses the sky each night, and Selene still glides silently above the world. Perhaps she no longer has tears to shed. Perhaps her love has grown so familiar, it no longer aches. But it remains, like the moonlight, like the human heart, always loving, always longing, and sometimes quietly letting go. If you've ever looked up at the night sky and felt your heart grow still beneath its silver glow, perhaps Selene is watching you. Perhaps she's telling your story through that gentle light that says everything, without a single word.